Hello everybody! Welcome back to the channel again. It is Semi-Original Guy, aka Mr. Cannon from Advanced Wars by Web. Hopefully you're all having a fantastic day. I have a brand new one here. Guess what? It's me! Ah! I know, exciting stuff. I'm back, folks. I'm back with a replay of my own. So, this one is gonna be super fun, super cool. This is another high funds match. Now, if you're wondering why I'm doing so many high funds, well, it's because nobody covers high funds. So, I just think it's super fun. Personally, high funds are one of my favorite game modes. I love standard, love fog of war, but high funds, there's something about it which is just super cool. You know, you just get to build so many big, heavy units. Get my cord out of the way there. It is super fun. Just super, super fun, and I enjoy it a lot. So today, we have myself, Mr. Cannon, and my opponent, Ollie Cat. I'll put the player profiles up here, so you can take a look. Hopefully I pointed in the right direction. I could never really remember, you know, sometimes, you know, flip screen. You never know. But during the playing of this match, this is about, it's probably almost a month old at this point, maybe a little less, but at the time, I think I was somewhere around 1060, maybe. Currently, I'm doing pretty good. As you can see by my player profile there, my rating has gone up once again. Highest it's ever been, thankfully. Ollie Cat is a very highly rated player as well. Not as many league games played as myself, but very impressive win streak. And very highly rated player. And I think he definitely shows a lot of good skill. I thought he was a very, very strong opponent. The COs picked for this one are Andy and Max. As we all know, Andy, my favorite CO to pick. My go-to guy in Tier 3. No day-to-day abilities. Hyper Repair will give you +2 healing. Hyper Upgrade, +5 healing, +1 movement, and 10% firepower. Super powered. Definitely very powerful in high funds, especially with the heavy units doing a lot of damage, right? You get the power charge very, very quickly. However, my opponent, Ollie Cat, has picked Max. We all know Max is the direct combat specialist of Advanced Wars. His direct combat units will get plenty, +20% firepower. Insane stuff. Insane stuff as a day-to-day ability, folks. His max force will give him +1 movement, increase the firepower of those direct combats, max blast, powerful stuff, +2 movement, folks, +2, and boost it to 150% firepower. So on a map with a comm tower, Max can be incredibly effective. Incredibly effective, folks. Oh, the other thing about Max is don't build indirects because they suck and you shouldn't do them. It's bad. He'll actually get -1 range of fire for his indirects and like -20% firepower. So if you need to build them out of desperation for some sort of a crazy reason, by all means do so. But on a day-to-day, kind of risky. I wouldn't suggest doing it. Just rely on your tanks. Just tanks. Tanks. That's all you need. Tanks. It's the tank show, folks. Alrighty. Let's go ahead and take a look in the match. Standard infantry builds. Every day, folks. Get those infantry on the field. You need them. You gotta cap properties. Gotta get them out on the field. Alrighty. So I'll do one more movement here. Okay. So we can see that I have gone with a double tank build for day 6. My opponent, not building any tanks, going straight medium tank. We are getting into the heavy stuff right away, folks. Medium tanks are insanely effective against all ground units except for a Neo tank. And the Mega tank, obviously. But when it comes to any sort of combat with anything lower than it, wipes the floor with him, especially a Max medium tank. Powerful stuff, folks. Powerful stuff. The only drawback of a medium tank is it only has 5 movement. So it's a little bit slower, but packs a punch. Okay, so the only thing that's really happened is we just capped the 2 bases. Ollie is going to cap these 2 cities, already capped the port, capped these 2 cities here. Now he's moving down to capture these ones. All standard stuff, folks. The only difference so far is I've kind of just pushed ahead and capped the properties up here instead of those caps, right? So, skipping ahead again. You know, we don't want to spend too much time on unnecessary plays. So, began capping 4 more cities, move the tanks up. That's it. You know, just going to start to apply pressure. That's all. So, all the cat. He is sending his medium tank down, moving his infantry into position to capture a few cities over here, and he's going for his airport. Whew, dangerous stuff. So this map, the airport plays a vital role, right? Obviously, you get air units on the field, and from a center position on the map, those air units can go either way and defend either fronts. Obviously, you have a weak side and a strong side on this one. So for the Orange Star player, the strong side would be on the left side of the map over here. Weak side on the right side of the map, just due to 1 base. So the airport is very important to help fortify your right-hand side, or your weak side, or whatever. Or you could just completely negate that and just send it all on your strong side and just completely overwhelm them. Make them cry. That's it. But he is going for that. So the other thing that's very viable about getting the airport on this map is you can build a bomber or battlecopters or something, go bust open this pipe seam and capture the comm tower, which will give you plus 10% firepower. Comm towers, as we all know, will give you 10% firepower when you cap them, and that is around the globe, folks, all your units. Alrighty, so what I have decided to do is I pushed up my tank a little bit further. Just gonna try to stop his advance on his strong front so far by pushing the tank up really, really far. Right? Obviously, the tank is open. He's not really defended, but he doesn't really have anything that's going to be able to hit it because this tank right here can only move as far as this city, which is being capped right now. So I have nothing really to fear from it yet. More of an intimidation factor than anything, right? So starting to cap one of my closer to his side of the map properties. Sending an infantry over to cap the airport too, because you know I was kind of like, oh, do I really need the airport? And then I was like, oh yeah, I kind of yeah, maybe I need it. Maybe it's possible. Okay. The other thing that I managed to do is I sent this tank up here. Obviously, there's a medium tank here, so I'm a little eerie about going up there. Right? So what do? Bam! Neo tanks. Neo tanks, folks. That's what I'm talking about. You gotta get the Neo tanks on the field. Super good stuff. Super good stuff. Especially in high funds. Now, what does my opponent do? Sends this medium tank closer to me. So now this is like super spooky. Super spooky, right? It's able to cover a large area. Right now, it covers these 2 caps. So if I was to go and interrupt a cap, nothing. I'm just gonna lose a tank. I'm gonna lose a tank. And he ends up building a Neo tank on this front also, which is like, whoa. Whoa. Okay. I thought this was the one Neo tank show, but now it's a dual Neo tank show. The Neo tanks are looking at each other from across the map. Well, I guess they can't because there's a pipe in the way, so it's kind of like staring at a wall, but you know something's behind the wall. But, yeah. That's about it. So, they don't see each other, but they know of their existence, so they're staring each other down. That's what's going on right now. The only other thing is the tank has moved up as far as it could on all the cat's strong front over here, which is technically a weaker front than his weak side right now. So the weak side is where he's really gone heavy with a lot of the units. So, but yeah, this tank is here, so I can't go head to head with it. So unfortunately, is what it is. So what I ended up doing here. And I'll play out the rest of the turns from this point, but I just wanted to skip ahead, right? Just get it out of the way. So I moved my Neo tank up to threaten his medium tank, built a second Neo tank, because now he's got one. So I'm like, well, I gotta get more on the field now. And I sent this tank way up into his lines to just take a shot at an infantry. I saw the infantry there. It's safe from this medium tank. It's safe from this neo tank. So I thought it was fairly good hit. You know, just go up, try to interrupt the cap game as much as I can. That infantry is basically useless. Not basically useless, but can still do something. All right, so let's see what happens here. Okay, so all EP is gonna go cap, finish capping the rest of his properties. Takes a dual shot at my infantry. A dual shot takes it down to 1 HP. So that's unfortunate. So for those of you that don't know, whenever an infantry is on a city, it's got enough defense terrain that base damage infantry will not be able to 2-hit KO it. Because what it works out to, it's like somewhere like maximum of 47% damage for each hit. So there's no way that I can actually equal up to 100%. So the infantry is always going to survive for that. However, if the player has a comm tower, it's possible you could 2-hit KO them. Entirely possible. So a little bit more risky to put your infantry like forward at that point. However, because he doesn't have the comm tower right now and it's max infantry, which are just normal firepower, I didn't really have too much to worry about it. Unfortunately, the infantry did get severely injured, so I mean that's not ideal, but it's alive. And when you're fighting as Andy, the most important thing is to keep your units alive, because that hyper upgrade is gonna come someday. And when it does, things are gonna get dicey. Alright, so he's got a neo tank and a medium tank on this side. Ends up building a neo tank on his strong front now, or the theoretical strong front. So that is pretty dangerous, because all I have is this wee little tank right here, and this wee little tank wouldn't even survive a one-on-one fight with this max tank right now. So I really have to do something about that. Gotta do something about that. So I'm taking my infantry back, capping the airport finally. Trying not to show any fear, like moving my neo tank up. Not going too far, but I end up building a third neo tank on my strong front and an artillery unit on the weak front. Artillery, the bane of Max. Bane of Max. So we'll see if that artillery actually manages to get anything done, or if it's just going to be a sitting duck. Now, I did say in a previous video that building indirects in high funds is kind of risky, because there's just so much firepower being thrown around. But on this map, I feel like it's not too bad of an idea. Because right here, we can see there's a mountain, right? So this area ends up being a very nice little choke point. So it is very possible to get an indirect unit, let's say on this road, or even on the forest, and assist in zoning out that area. So that's my thought about that. So we'll see what happens. There goes the infantry, folks. There's going to be no hyper upgrade for that guy, unfortunately. So tragic days for that little infantry. And we got a battlecopter on the field. It's there. Battlecopter. Woo! Crazy stuff. Crazy stuff. And he's interrupting my caps. Being conservative with his neo tank and his medium tank, keeping them out of range right now. So the one thing that's about to happen right now, okay, so he's got the airport. So if you manage to cap your airport before your opponent, one thing that you are going to be able to do is get a unit count advantage, because if you manage to build a couple air units as well as build out of all your bases, you'll just be able to pump out one more unit for like at least 2 days. Like in this case, it would be 2 days. So yeah, he'll have a couple battlecopters on the field before I can even get any battlecopters. So very dangerous stuff. So I do end up capping my the airport. Cool stuff. Moving my infantry up, take shots. Seems like my computer is a little laggy today, so I apologize if there's any sort of lag in the video. You know, potato computer. I'm going to be getting a new one soon. So Videos are going to get better, folks. They're only going to get better from here. And if you think they're good right now, oh, just wait. It's going to be good stuff. So I don't go and interrupt this cap because my tank would be a sitting duck from this guy, as well as maybe this one. No, so not this one, but it would be a sitting duck from the battlecopter. So I'm going to get it out here, and I'm going to send it over to my weak front. Because that tank, it's not going to be able to help the strong front at all. It's not going to be able to do anything against the medium tank. It's not going to be able to do anything against the Neo tank. The only thing it would be able to do is maybe follow up an attack, but I feel like it might be a little bit better just sending it over to my weak side and just helping that area out, you know, just giving it a little helping hand. That's my plan. Helping hands all around. Okay, so day 10. Capping, sending Neo tanks up to take shots. Ow. Ow. Painful stuff, folks. Painful stuff. So we also have a bomber on the field now, which is pretty spooky for all my Neo tanks. However, there's one or two things this bomber can do. This bomber could either just full send rush me right now, do a lot of damage to my Neo tanks, and force me to build like anti-air units right away. Or this bomber could go back, one-shot the pipe seam because he's max and he's got that direct combat bonus. Then he'll be able to just move up and cap the comm tower. So that could be very effective, very powerful stuff. It would also make it so I will have to deal with a 130 over 100 max on a day-to-day, which is not the best. All right, so I know this is a losing battle with this Neo tank right here. Don't want to deal with that, right? It's too powerful right now. So I move it back to the point where it won't be able to move into the forest to attack this. It will have to kill the infantry in order to progress any farther, right? This tank is going to be a sitting duck, and I understand that. However, I wanted to delay this cap because I know he's going to be able to take this city from me, possibly. But I bring it back just to be safe. Be safe. That's what I'm trying to do. And I build a fighter. Build a fighter. Woo! So if you want a powerful counter to a bomber, now you could build anti-air like I also did here. Or you could just go all out, get a fighter, get it up there, and do serious threats to that bomber. Now, in my mind, doing serious threats to a bomber is much, much better than waiting for the bomber to come to you and then countering with the anti-air. The other thing I do is just double down on my indirect. So I build 2 more artillery, gonna send those up. I think they'll be really effective with the Neo tanks up here. And as for this side, well, you know, it's looking iffy, right? So I'm figuring I'm gonna have to kind of turtle up, hard shell it, you know, and just wait for something good to happen. Okay, so we don't see the bomber move, but I'm pretty sure the bomber actually goes and takes a shot at the pipe seam. For some reason, the replay viewer won't actually show that, and I don't know why. But either way, not important. He also builds a transport copter. So we see what his plan is. He's going to transport copter his way up and cap the comm tower. So we are going to have a very powerful max on our hands pretty soon. Okay, so my only issue with this is if you're gonna have all your units, right, you should really try to keep them close together, possibly so they can protect each other, right? Now, I think this bomber is not quite in range to hit this. So if these Neo tanks went up, it might be able to do something. This Neo tank might be able to counter any attack that I did do. But I think this guy would... No, he actually still would. So it's not completely covering him, but he's covering him enough. So maybe it's not as bad as I was thinking. Okay. So I do interrupt the cap with one of my infantry. Take out a 2 HP infantry, moving my 3 HP tank back. And just moving some of my other units around. Move my Neo tank up. So it's in position to be attacked by his Neo tank now. Which is obviously not great, but not bad. Alright, so these guys are still covering each other, so that's good. Now, I want to see if I actually maybe overlooked something. So, okay. So, this could have actually went kind of bad for me. Kind of bad. And I'll tell you why. Alright, so if I was a crazy, reckless Mr. Cannon, aka semi-original guy, kind of a guy, what I would probably do is I would do something crazy. Something crazy, right? I know, it's always something crazy. Now, we're pretty close to max blast. We're pretty close to max force. So, it is possible that we might be able to actually get the battle damage necessary to get up there. Because it's like 17,000. So if we actually did a couple attacks, it might be possible to do it. Okay, so I'm gonna say in theory, because you might not necessarily want to do this against an Andy player, but if you're playing as, or if you're playing against somebody else, there is something that you would be able to do. You could actually do a bunch of attacks and force out one of your max forces or max blast or whatever the co-power, okay? The co-power, folks. All right, you get your co-power, and then because this guy is just one space away from this fighter, this guy would actually be able to move up and take a shot at the fighter, and then your bomber would be completely safe. And yeah, there goes like 20k for me, right? So that's entirely possible. Whether it's 100% possible is another story, because I don't know necessarily if you would have enough. But either way. So we're going to stop living in hypothetical land, and we're just going to keep going. Ooh. Yeah, so that's some big hits on the Neo tank. Big hits. Yeah, it looks like he just, he would not have just enough. Yeah. Okay, so we're like, how much are we off? 4k. So he was 4k away from doing a very devastating attack to me. So, lucky for me. And then, oh, spooky stuff. Okay, so he actually base skips. Base skips. I would never suggest base skipping. You can. Sometimes it's good. But sometimes it's not. Now, I don't necessarily think this is a great base skip, but I understand the reason why. So because I have 3 Neo tanks right here, he's got to get some serious firepower up there. So he's gone with a mega tank. Now personally, he wouldn't actually be able to build a bomber because I would have just been able to hit it. Maybe just like another Neo tank and another tank. I think that probably would have been better. But either way, we have a huge mega tank on the field. So crazy stuff. Powerful. Alright, so I am going to go up and just start taking hits. And force out my hyper upgrade. Bam, get some massive healing. Now, did we see that? Okay, so I'm sitting at 167,000. Use the hyper upgrade. Now I'm sitting at 190,000. So we're dead even again. Dead even, which is really good. And my 2 HP Neo tank that was just sitting there is at 7 HP now. So it's going to be able to do some damage. Unless I already did. I think maybe I actually already took the shot. My replayer is just saying that I didn't. Who knows? Alright, so I make a mistake here too. I should have actually went with this bomber and attacked the pipe seam if it was my intention to get the comm tower. Because now that I have the 10% firepower bonus, I might be able to actually one-shot it. Most likely. So that would have been really good. But I think I forget to actually do it. Which is super bad. Not super bad, but I mean, could be a lot better. So I do this crazy wonky move with my fighter, and I actually just zip it up there and just block his airport. I'm just like, nope. We ain't gonna have no more bombers up in this place. This is a bomber-free zone, unless they're orange. If they're orange, they're mine. Now, I know the units are Did I say orange? Ah! Screwed up, folks. Screwed up. Unless they're green. Unless they're green. I'm thinking orange star, you know, because Andy's orange star. But yeah, no more orange bombers. Green bombers only. Truth. There we go. Alright, so take a couple more shots, build a battlecopter, an anti-air, and then I base skip. After I just gave him crud for base skipping, I'm like, well, you know, maybe I'll just base skip too. So yeah, don't base skip, folks. If you can definitely prevent it. If you have some sort of reason to base skip, you know, I guess it's okay, but yeah. You know what it was, actually, now that I think about it? I wanted the battlecopter, I wanted the Neotank, and I needed this, and I didn't have enough funds. Because I know that my anti-air is going to be dying, and I don't want to move my fighter, because I really want to lock that airport. I don't want it moving. Okay, so let's see. Max Blast. Oh, we got a super co-power. Right now, those max units are going to be 150% firepower, plus 2 movement. Ah! It's going to be crazy. Crazy stuff. I swear to God. Ooh. Let's see. Alright, we start off with a couple standard infantry shots, and oof, couldn't finish off the anti-air, but did massive damage. Huge damage to the Neotank sitting on a city. And because I have the co-power, remember that Neotank has 140% defense. So the Neotank just went up and like negated all that defense. All that defense. Okay. Do a little bit of damage to the artillery. Bomber coming in, just one-shotting my Neotank. One shot, it's gone. Sadness. Anyways, let's keep going. Now the mega tank, looking mega intimidating. Like, look at that movement. Scary stuff. Scary stuff. Ah. So yeah, the mega tank is there. That is gonna be doing some damage. You know what? Just for fun, I'm gonna put up a damage calculator up here so you can see how much damage a mega tank can do against, like, let's say a Neo tank during max blast. So yeah. Ah! Scary stuff. Okay, so double MD tank and an anti-air. Alright, let's see what I can do to counter this. So take a shot at the more full HP Neo tank. Want to definitely do some damage to that. Bring my fighter up to take out the bomber. So bomber's gone. I negated the base cap or base block. Sometimes it's what you got to do, folks. You know, you block off a base and then you realize, like, okay, well, I mean, I really got to kill that bomber, so I got to get out of here. And then I stupidly build a transport copter, even though I can't get this yet. I don't know what I'm thinking, folks. Sometimes, like, I have, like 10 thoughts going on in my head at once, and, like, I just can't organize them, and then I just full send all my units to the front line, and I'm just like, whatever. But makes for good content sometimes, so full send city, folks. One-way ticket. Okay, so build medium tank, double infantry, nothing really out of the ordinary. Did as many shots as I could over here safely, and took a bunch of safe engagements over here. Didn't want to push up too far, not too far. Just really holding the line by that the mountain, right? It's like my zone, my line. It's like, okay, don't go too much further than the mountain, otherwise you're probably gonna die. And now we have 130 over 100 max units. Direct combat units right now. Yeah, just one shot in tanks all day. Oh boy. Oh boy. So I do got a unit advantage right now, but Max's units are just so powerful that it can literally go either way. And I still have that medium tank, or not that mega tank to deal with. It's like, not sure how I'm gonna deal with it yet, but I'm pretty sure it's gonna have something to do with full Sand City. No, I'm just kidding. It's gonna have something to do with the bomber, right? So right now you can see this bomber is out of range. But I think the one thing my opponent didn't really calculate was the fact that Andy's going to have that +1 movement quite a bit. And I am, like, notorious for popping my power, like, mid-term and just being like, whatever. Yeah. I don't know why. I don't know why I found that so funny. Comedy. Anyways, yeah, I pop it, like, mid-turn, like, all the time, right? Some people will say that's bad, but I'm not some people, I'm just some guy. So, some semi-original guy. So, you know, I'll do it. I'll be like, yeah, I can get some value out of this, whatever. Okay. Boom, right there. So I do all those attacks, I get the healing. Now I'm above his value once again, which is really good. But more important than anything, I have this 8 HP guy take a shot, and then I follow it up with the bomber, and almost take out the anti-air. Almost. It's almost dead. Still alive. And I go back and base block the airport again, which is super cool. Now, even a 5 HP max mega tank is still insanely powerful. We're still going to be able to do like anywhere between like 50 to 60% damage on like Neo tanks. So it's not out of the game yet. However, he's going to need some anti-air or something to help take out the bomber. Because if he doesn't take out the bomber right now, it's just going to have free roam all over the place. So we got a max force. Cool power time. Big damage on the Neo tank, like huge damage. Following up for a full hit. 2-hit KO, dead, gone. Taking out the anti-air mega tank, doing 60% damage to an infantry, which is pretty good. Now, I don't necessarily agree with actually pushing up with all this, mostly because you don't have a counter to the bomber right now. Oh, excuse me. It's getting hard to talk, folks. Maybe pulling all these guys back, building an anti-air, and then like coming back like afterwards would be a little bit better. Because the only thing that's going to happen is I might cap like one city. Maybe one, maybe two cities. So you lose a little bit of funds, but you come back even stronger. I think that probably would have been a good idea. Because on my side, I never really push past this area. Because I know that he's just incredibly strong over there, right? And if I did go past there, I mean, it'd only be a matter of time before the overextend would get severely punished. So okay, so we got day 16. And we are going to move up, taking more shots, taking out units. See, that's what I mean about that push right there. A lot of those units just ended up getting very countered. Very countered. Now, I don't attack the mega tank because it's not really going to be doing too much over there. Like, all it can attack are infantry, so I don't really have to worry about it too much, which is nice. I do join cap to make sure that the mega tank has to keep attacking that infantry. Just building a couple small tanks. Small tanks are going to be able to deal with these injured medium tanks, and possibly even probably wouldn't guarantee it would be able to take out the mega tank, but I mean it might be able to slow it down a little bit. Okay. So he does a very nice push right here. Does quite a bit of damage. And pushes me back a little bit farther. Okay. So this is where I think my opponent made a very bad mistake. So we have like an infantry here, and we have this. And if you see that my co-power is getting really, really close, scope, Andy's going to get that +1 movement. And if you see what is really close right now, it's the lab, right? So he does have a few units that are in position, possibly to reinforce the lab. But I have a lot of units around here that could possibly block it off too. So I'm trying to think to myself, like, how could I pull this off, right? So we're going to see if I can. So I double shot. Move the battlecopter up, and I get the hyper upgrade. Boom. Big heals, right? Big heals. Good stuff. So take out transport copter. Go in the cap the lab. And now I have to figure out right now. So very important thing is I have to figure out how I can block off this, how I can block off this, how I can block the infantry, and how I can block this medium tank. Possibly even this too, right? Because this guy could possibly play a role, but probably not. But you never know, right? Never know. Okay, so first thing I do is I take a shot at the infantry, and then I stop my cap, kill the infantry. So that's one thing gone, right there. Use the Neo tank to just sit on the road and block. I don't go up and attack, I just block. Now, the reason for that is this guy won't be able to one-shot it. And this guy, if he did sacrifice himself into it, it still won't be able to completely kill it. So, that guy's safe. So, we're safe on this end. Good. Now, there is 2 spots right here. So, when I was looking at this, I almost missed this shoal. Right? I almost missed it, right? But, thankfully, I noticed. Like, last second. Like, literal last second. Like, I was about to make the move, and then I was like, oh, wait a second. So I go up and do some damage. Like, he's already got the max blast, so I might as well just try to do as much damage as I can. So I do this Y movement right here. Now why? Because it blocks off both these areas. So we're just going to skip through the rest of this. So that was my plan. So unless he actually manages to hit my infantry cap in the HQ right now, then that's going to be it. So he does use the max blast. So let's see what happens. So he does one-shot the bomber. And he's going up doing some massive damage. Taking the little tank, doing a 2-hit KO, which is something I didn't actually account for, was this 2-hit KO. But fortunately, I don't think the medium tank is actually able to reach it, because it's just shy because of this forest. Now, if this 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Yeah, so even if the forest wasn't there, it still wouldn't be able to reach. But that's it. So because I managed to spot that move, get my infantry in there, pop the hyper upgrade mid-turn, managed to get the lab cap, aka the HQ, and secure the win in this high funds match. So we get a lab cap on a high funds match, which is something you don't normally see. But I also get a lot of HQ caps sometimes when I play, right? Because I'm kind of a bad player, right? Now I know my rating is kind of like mid-ish, you know, maybe high mid, but like mid. But most of the time my capture game and everything is really, really bad. Really bad. And I ended up losing a lot because of that. However, I end up winning sometimes too, because I just kind of like come up with these clever plays where I'm like, okay, well maybe I can just go up there and cap the HQ. But either way, so that's the way this one went. I did get an HQ cap. I thought Ollie Cat played like fairly well. Lots and lots of really cool tank plays. Tanks, it was definitely the tank show. I loved it. It was super cool. I think the only thing that really possibly sealed the deal was the overextend here with one of the max forces or max blast. Can't remember which one it was. I think if he actually pulled back at that point, waited for the anti-air, and then went and pushed up again, the lab cap would not have been possible. So I think just because I noticed that, it ended up being possible, right? So good stuff. So hopefully you all enjoyed. I had a blast playing this. And there's going to be more in the future. So you're going to see more from old semi-original guy, aka Mr. Cannon, from Advance Wars by Web pretty soon. In the meantime, I will leave a link in the description below where you can check out Advance Wars by Web and the Discord. Come to Advance Wars, join, it's free. You can play casual, or you could join the league and possibly face me in league. Ah! I know, it'd be super fun, right? Besides, even if you wanted to play a match against me, you could probably just send me a message on Advance Wars by Web, and I'd just be like, yeah, okay, let's do it. Just don't beat me too badly, please. I just can't handle it in my heart. Got a weak heart. I'm just kidding. Anyways, so, like I said, semi-original guy, aka Mr. Cannon. Take care, everybody. Have a great time. Make sure to like, comment, and subscribe if you're not. I appreciate it so much. Actually, I've reached like over 120 subs. And I am super stoked and super thankful for all you guys. So, been a good time. So, more content to come. Semi-Rich Guy out.